Hi, this is Polytank. It's time for me to be zooming and zamming again. I managed to zoom in with someone last week. This week, I'm talking to a guy who has given us 5 decades of entertainment as a lead singer, part of a band for all these years, still is part of a band, still is the lead singer. It's a great honor to have him chatting with us today. He's given us some absolutely awesome albums from the 80s, none other than 1, 2, 3 Go. Does that ring a bell? Please, I'd like to welcome onto Ajkal TV, SHIN DCS.
साडे जिस्मां च खून पंजाबियां दा साडे दिलां च प्यार पंजाब दा ऐ मां बोली नूं असी प्यार करदे हां अखां विच सत्कार पंजाब दा ऐ ओ बेशक रहिंदे परदेस साडा दिल फिर भी पंजाबी के साडा दिल फिर भी पंजाबी भावें दूर है अपना देश ओ भावें दूर है अपना देश साडा दिल फिर भी पंजाबी दिल फिर भी पंजाबी के साडा दिल फिर भी पंजाबी दिल फिर भी पंजाबी के साडा दिल फिर भी पंजाबी.
Well, thank you very much, Shin, for joining me today via this new media we've got. I mean, I've interviewed you, I think, on television. I've interviewed you on radio, but the first time we've got you zoomed.
I know, crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
What a time! What a time! We're down to like zooming one another, which is a great platform. I think it's a fantastic platform, you know, to keep in touch with people when it's a bit difficult to get around. But yeah. You know, considering what we're going through at the time, this is the best thing. You know, it's a fantastic invention.
Brilliant. So, first of all, Shin, this is your 5th decade of entertaining people. You know, and I was being careful, thinking, should I say that? But I have to say it because this is your 5th decade of entertainment.
I don't hide the fact, and I don't hide my age ever. When people ask me, I never reduce the years whenever I'm answering. Yeah.
So can I just? Are you still 23 then?
You'll have to double it and add a few years onto it, you know what I mean? Close to tripling it, I think. You know? But yeah, you know, I mean, I'm 60. I celebrated 60 just towards the end of last year. You know, I still feel 23. You know, the energy is still there, and the will to want to perform and want to get on stage. You know, and the will to I just want people to let me sing, you know, and I just want an audience. I need an audience. I badly need an audience at this time. You know, it's been like I've been on cold turkey for the last 6 months or so. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. It's crazy, you know. And I desperately need to sing. So wherever I get an opportunity, you know, I just want to sing a few songs.
But you just touched on the beginning. Now the beginning is very, very interesting because a lot of people. A lot of artists, you know, singers, people who are in the industry have kind of like got into Bhangra and then gone out to Bollywood. But with you and DCS, I mean, one of your earliest ventures was the film Cricketer, wasn't it?
Yeah. Film Cricketer was produced by people from the UK, East End Foods. And they're good friends of ours, and they came to us to do the music for their film Cricketer. So we kind of hit on Bollywood quite early in our career, and that soundtrack did really well over there for us. Then we did a film called Ronak, which also did well. The soundtracks to those albums really did good for us. But then Bhangra kind of just took over our lives, you know, completely. And for the last 35, 38 years, I've just been on the road performing and just recording albums, you know, and it's been a crazy time. But but if you were to ask me, you know, where have the last 38 years gone, I couldn't tell you, you know what I mean? It's just been a whirlwind and a blast, really, you know. And I think I'm truly blessed in that, you know, I'm in a profession that that I wanted to do from day dot, and I've kind of enjoyed it all the way. The ride has been fantastic, you know, and lucky, you know, touch wood, DCS have always been riding around the top of the UK Bhangra industry scene, the live scene and the recording scene. And, you know, thank you very much, God, and everybody who's followed DCS and, you know, enjoyed our songs and given us all that love. Thank you very much. You know, you've made my life for me. Thank you very much. In the respect that I've been able to do what I wanted to do and enjoyed my life. And I don't know where my life has gone. You know, it's been such a blast.
And you've given us so much back as well, Shin, through all your music, all your live performances.
Yeah.
So we've got to thank you as well for being who you are and being part of DCS.
I've still got so much more to give. I feel like I haven't given anything yet. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, over these last few months, I've found my life changing very much, and my musical taste has changed so much. You know, and I've discovered new things. Like I've discovered Shabad, like from the Gurbani. You know, and like I said, touching on the spiritual stuff, I've found a lot of other stuff, Sufiana music. You know, that I've gone deeply into, and it's been a great time for me. I've made use of this unfortunate time that we've gone through and made it, you know, very educational for myself, you know, and it's helped to lift me and keep my spirits raised all the time.
Well, we're glad you've managed to do that. Now, you've touched on, you know, you've had a long career, but I just want to take you back into the 80s just slightly, because one of your, I mean, there was no official charts or official counting of albums or anything like that, but one of your biggest albums, I mean, back in the 80s, it was The Cellar, wasn't it? Awesome album. I mean, people who have still got a copy of it are very fortunate. And if you can listen to some of the original tunes off there, absolutely fantastic. And I mean, it got you quite a lot of recognition, a lot of awards. And I suppose on the back of that album, it really put DCS at the front, at the very front of Bhangra.
Yeah, I mean, that album put us right on the map. We were already there kind of in the UK, but internationally, all around the world, that album just kind of put a stamp on our career, you know, and it was so well received by everybody everywhere. And if I recall correctly, on Archcol Radio, because I think your radio station was the main radio station that everybody tuned into on a Friday night, because that was the place to go for the latest news on Bhangra, all the new releases and what the chart positions are for everybody. And I think we were #1 for about 9 weeks or something like that, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
If I recall correctly. But, you know, it was just great. It was a fantastic, you know, what a great time, you know. I think that was the era for Bhangra music generally, you know, in the UK. That and the few years before it and the 10 years following it, it was just a massive time for Bhangra music, you know. So much great music coming out from all the bands in the UK, you know. Anybody was, because as well as being a musician and a singer and a member of a band that was making music, I was a fan of the other bands that were out there and making music as well. And whatever anybody was producing was great music. I loved everything from everybody, you know. I was a fan of everyone. Sahotas, Alap, Patna Sangeet, you name it, Premi, you know, Hira. I was their fan, you know. The music was just fantastic. And, you know, I think today, I long to hear that kind of original stuff within Bhangra music. There is good Bhangra music out there. It's still out there. But, you know, there is still a lot of rubbish as well. But I think at that time, the unique thing about Bhangra was it was very innocent in the early 80s, you know. We were just out there to have fun. We were making music. The people buying the music were, you know, just were listening to these songs for the very first time. And a whole movement was being generated, you know. The UK Bhangra scene, it was like a snowball effect, you know. It just started rolling and rolling and rolling, and it just became a monster. It turned into like a dinosaur, really, you know, and took over the whole world. You know, it affected. We were the generation of Bhangra producers, Bhangra bands that sold Bhangra back to India.
That's
you
right.
know. Otherwise, we used to always listen to the music from over there, the Bollywood music, or the music being produced by people like Manak, Gurdas Maan Saab, you know, Sadhu Sikandar. We were listening to their music, you know, and trying to emulate what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, we hit on a sound and a formula that, you know, was very international. You know, it was the UK. We started fusing music in the early days with folk music and fusing it with our Western influences, using guitars and drums and synthesizers and what have you. And the new kind of musical arrangements we were making as well were very interesting. So we sold this new sound back to them, and they've been using it ever since. Really, you know, they've never said thank you to us. You know, they could say thank you, yeah. But never mind.
No, I think it's overdue. A big thank you because it revived. I mean, from our point of view, it revived something that I lacked as I was growing up, because there was no Bhangra scene. So
yeah.
The music we was listening to, it was a lot of mainstream music, and the mainstream music never sort of satisfied what I wanted until the 80s came along, and you guys and along with the other bands started releasing Punjabi music, and fantastic era that was.
Yeah, I mean, the Bhangra music of that time it gave the youth, the Asian, you know, the South Asian youth of the UK could identify with what was happening. There was a whole massive scene, as you know. You know, we'd never played in clubs before, and we started going into clubs. You know, bands were playing in clubs. You'd get students from all over the UK, 50, 60 coaches, you know, all piling in on this venue somewhere in Nottingham. Like, I remember MGM's nightclub. We'd play there, right? And the place would be rammed with students, and I'd pull up. You know, we'd pull up about 7 o'clock to come and do our sound checks, and coaches would be turning up already. You get like 30, 40 coaches parked up outside, you know, and students all over the place like ants. And it was, what a scene, you know. And it's such a shame that people now can't experience that movement, that whole energy, that drive that everybody had at that time. Not just the people producing the music, but the people who wanted to come to those venues and hear that music and enjoy themselves. It was so innocent. It was just about having a good time, you know. And what fantastic, great. I'm so glad I was part of that scene.
Yeah, well, I'm very thankful as well. You know, even from our part in radio, you know, I've always thanked us because we was there, we witnessed it firsthand. We saw the bands, all the bands come along, and I don't think there wasn't a band that never ever sort of came on our show. So it was fantastic for us as well. It was an absolutely buzzing time, because every Friday it was like, which band's coming tonight? it was for us as well. It was a buzz. It was an excitement. You know, new album, new song, and I remember bands used to, before launching or releasing the songs officially, they'd come to us with it and say, "You play it first. You play it first, see what reaction you get."
Well, Article was the measuring tool. Really, you had to be on Article Radio when you get a new release. Otherwise, it's not a release. You know what I mean? It doesn't count otherwise. You have to go there first. That's your first interview. You know what I mean?
Oh dear, there were good times, and you know, obviously, I do wish that some of today's generation could see those times and really feel that excitement and buzz that we've had.
Yeah. Do you know the big shame I find, Polly, is that in the UK it seems like the scene, once we hang up our guitars and hang up our microphones, the scene is going to die. You know, because I don't see any new talent stepping forwards from the UK. You get all the kids from India coming over, and they're doing their stuff. That's great. It's fantastic. It's brilliant, you know. But being a British-born Asian, you know, I want to see talent from the UK doing it again. We have the talent here. You know, come on, guys, step up, do it, man, do it. Get out there and do it. We need something fresh, and it needs to happen again in the UK. Only the UK is the place where something fresh can happen. I believe that to be the case. It's always been the case. In the UK, Bhangra has been revived so many times and taken shape and been remolded and, you know, repackaged and gone out there again and done the business every time, and it can happen again.
So finally, Shin, just want to say, you know, anything in the pipeline for DCS? I mean, single, I know albums is a kind of like a no-no at the moment, so singles are the way forward. So have the boys and yourself got anything ready, or? Yeah,
we've got a few, we've got 2 tracks ready. I just need to put my final vocals on them, because as it was coming to the time to do vocals, COVID happened, and even though I have a studio at home, it's a pre-production studio, so I don't do my final vocals here. I go into a bigger studio to do my final vocals and to do mix downs and mastering. And all the studios are closed, so we can't get in anywhere to finish anything. And until COVID's over, there's no point in releasing anything either. So we, you know, when everything is done and dusted, we have some stuff ready that will be in your that you can hear very, very soon. So people look out for it. Yeah, very soon.
Thank you very much for taking time out to chat with us this way. Like I said, we'll look up with you again when you release the singles. But thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Polly. Enjoyed it, loved it. Thank you. चांदनी चांद से होती है, सितारों से नहीं. प्यार एक से होता है, एक से होता है, हजारों से नहीं. जड़ी लगदी जान तो प्यारी, पकड़ लेती तारी ते लाल फुलकारी. लगदी जान तो प्यारी, पकड़ लेती तारी ते लाल फुलकारी. ओ जान मेरिया है, ओ सोनी मेरिया, ओ जान मेरिया है, ओ सोनी मेरिया. जड़ी लगदी जान तो प्यारी, पकड़ लेती तारी ते लाल फुलकारी. लगदी जान तो प्यारी, पकड़ लेती तारी ते लाल फुलकारी. ओ जोनी मेरिया है, ओ जान मेरिया, ओ सोनी मेरिया है, ओ जान मेरिया.
Fantastic, brilliant, love it, Shin. Honestly.
Hey people, Shin from DCS. Just keep watching Archgirl TV. You'll see me, you'll see loads of other stars. This is the place.